I'm here with Nick Lord. Thanks for coming on, Nick.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
So Nick and I, we both went to Gettysburg College, and back in college, we actually didn't even know each other. He was on the basketball team, I was on the football team, and we got connected through our mutual love of entrepreneurship. And over the past couple of years, he's blossomed his company into a big firm called No Cap Sports. So to kick things off, Nick, can you just share with the audience a little bit about your career and your background playing college basketball?
Yeah, man. So I went to Gettysburg College, graduated in 2020, was a 4-year varsity basketball player there. Had a great experience and actually started my first company when I was in college. It was a music business. Didn't work out to the way I wanted it to, but it ended up turning into what I am building today, which is No Cap Sports. Started it as soon as I graduated college. Um, we are at the forefront of a new industry called name, image, and likeness, where college athletes are able to monetize their personal brands for the first time ever. So we're helping athletes connect with brands and um, engage different companies and working with them as essentially athlete ambassadors. And we're kind of facilitating that from start to finish for them.
Very cool. So, how did your experience as a Division III athlete like help you in your current role as a CEO?
Yeah, I would say definitely in a couple of different ways. I think just being a part of a team um, has really kind of taught me like how to build out a business team. I've taken a lot of elements of the ways I worked with my teammates in college, and I was a captain for 2 years as well, and it took a lot of those leadership elements and have applied it to No Cap, and that's how I kind of really built the foundation of what we're doing. I honestly didn't really know much about building a company or uh, you know starting a tech firm, but just kind of been figuring out as I go along. And a lot of those initial elements that I came with came from playing basketball at Gettysburg and just playing Division III sports in general.
Yeah. And from a lot of these conversations I have with coaches, it's like sports is really the perfect microcosm for life and for business, really.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you say really resonated with you as an athlete that you can specifically say you've applied in your career?
Honestly, man, just work ethic. I think the biggest thing for me, especially with No Cap, is just like the consistent, nonstop, relentlessness to continue going, and the willingness to put in the work, learn as you kind of go, be willing to fail along the way, learn from those failures, and that has kind of gotten us to where we are today. I would say those are kind of the major keys for sure.
Yeah. And I think just to your point, being able to be okay with failure is something that really any athlete is going to be able to experience over their career. Um, so going off of that, what can you maybe think of like one or two actual experiences in college, like where you went through something and then had to overcome it and like just share about that experience?
Yeah. So things that I went through while in college is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Like maybe like the COVID year, because I know you were a senior during that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess from a sports perspective, I kind of lucked out because we finished right when COVID, uh, the whole COVID thing happened. So we got sent home right after that. So my season didn't really get affected, but didn't get to experience, the latter half of my senior year, which sucked. But I would say a couple of the things that happened in college, specifically in regards to basketball. My freshman year had a couple of mental health struggles for the first time. That was a big learning curve for me. Um, I think college is a new thing for most people, and a lot of people go through some, mental struggles while they're in college at some point in their career. And I had a pretty bad one my freshman year going into my sophomore year. So really had to kind of deal with that, learn how to talk to people, about what I was feeling, which was something I wasn't really used to. So that was a big one for me. And then secondly, we had a big coaching change. I think it was going into my junior year, so I had to go for full transition there, adapting kind of everything that I had committed to when I was a high schooler. That was all changing kind of midway through my career, so it was a big transition for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And like we were talking about earlier too, like just being able to change is similar to the concept of like being okay with failure. Is you have to be in a constant state of evolution to get to where you're wanting to go. And, it sounds
Yeah.
like you had a lot of success on your playing days being a two-time captain. So that's really cool to hear.
Well, yeah, we had some success. We weren't I would say the most winningest team, but we did what we could.
Yeah. Hey, well, at least when I was at Gettysburg, better than we did with football.
Yeah.
but but no, that's great. And any last words of advice you want to share with the audience? And a lot of these guys are coaches or players, so anything you think might be applicable.
Yeah. One thing I guess I've learned over the last 2 years filling in no cap is just so many parallels between um, college sports and business. And our business is still in college sports today, so I'm seeing it even more. But I think a lot of elements that leaders take on the business side can be applied to coaching in college, or a lot of things that can be applied on the college coaching side could be applied to business. Um, so I think that's something that's really interesting that I've learned over the last couple of years. That I think a lot of advice that's out there regarding starting a business and everything like that can easily be applied to coaching college sports.
Definitely. Yeah, and even with my own company, CoachTools, like I've learned so much that's similar to what you were saying, like
Yeah,
just that relentless mindset, and having that. I think something that somebody told me recently is long-term temporal perspective, and the best leaders have a really high capacity for that, and it's something that not everybody has. So like being able to see way out in the future, and it's similar to sports. Like when you're a freshman, you might not see the court or the field, and it's like, well, you have to be able to know that what you're doing right now is going to apply to you
for
being on the
sure.
field in 2 or 3 years. So
For sure. Yeah. You always got to be kind of one step ahead of the game, planning for what's going to happen in 3 years, not just what's happening in, the current moment. Although
definitely,
obviously, you gotta perform in the current moment, but always got to be prepared for the future for sure.
for sure. So Nick, great talking with you, man. Thanks for coming on, and best of luck with no cap.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.